Hi fans, this is your favorite actor. When I
We want to remind you that the Open Line Radio Show is powered by Finders Keepers, 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette. The Open Line Radio Show is heard exclusively from 9 to 11 a.m. every Wednesday on your community superstation for South Louisiana, KIEE 88.3.
The Open Line Radio Show is supported in part by Finders Keepers, the place with your residential hardware needs, small engines, outdoor power equipment, bathroom accessories, electronics, lighting, plumbing and everything in between. Located in the Southern Development Office Building, at 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette. Telephone 337-780-8149. That's Finders Keepers.
Brother Jay and our conscious sister, bringing the people the knowledge on the Open Line Radio Show on 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana, 88.3 FM.
KIEE, the Louisiana Superstation, presents the community's #1 radio talk show, The Open Line. If you have an open mind.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Open Line. I'm Brother Jay. I'll be here with my co-host, Sister Khadijah. Stay tuned and relax for the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation. Welcome to the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of KIEE 88.3 staff or management. Thanks for listening.
This is your Black History Moment on the Open Line Radio Show and the People's Tech and Entertainment Show on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. We remember Mr. Joe Dennis, civil rights leader, Lafayette, Louisiana born, December 17, 1928. Died Sunday, January 22, 2023. In early 1960, Joseph began actively working to get black representation on the Lafayette Parish School Board, police jury, parish and city council. After failing to get any black voices in these elected positions, he led the effort to organize and was elected chairperson of the Black Alliance for Progress, a local group whose primary purpose was to have black representation on all governmental bodies in Lafayette. He was also one of the founding board members of the SMILE, St. Martin Iberia Lafayette Community Action Agency. Joseph was a member of the American Legion Post Hash 504 and the Knights of Peter Claver, Council Hash 76. He became the plaintiff in successful legal action to reapportion the school board, who ultimately voted to have one seat on the board for a black board member. As a result, A.J. Tony Cheshin became the first black elected official in the history of Lafayette Parish since Reconstruction. Joseph was again successful in legal action to reapportion the Lafayette Parish Policy Jury, Parish Council, and the Lafayette City Council. From the 1960s up to 2020, he worked tirelessly to promote equality and access to opportunity for all citizens. Over those years, he would also serve in various leadership roles, including President of Louisiana State Council on Human Relations, Board Chairman for Sterling Grove Housing Development, Citizens Action Council Advisor, Vice President, Board of Commission, Lafayette Housing Authority, Lafayette Branch of the NAACP, Treasurer of Macomb Vesey Improvement and Development Corporation, Immaculate Heart of Mary Church Parish Council President, President of Citizen Action Council, Citizen of the Year by Kiwanis Club of Southwest, Southern Consumers Education Foundation Outstanding Black Citizen, and Lafayette Consolidated Government recognition for his work on behalf of the citizens in our community. He tried to do all that he could to help others in need. As a side note, a building named in his honor was recently dedicated to the local civil rights leader. The Lafayette Neighborhood Economic Development Corporation presented the dedication in conjunction with the Sterling Grove Housing Development and the Downtown Evangeline Apartments. This has been your Black History Moment on the Open Line Radio Show and the People's Tech and Entertainment Show on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana.
Good morning. Hotep Habari Ghani. Assalamu alaikum. How you doing out there this morning? Another powerful day, another powerful wake-up call. And I'm your sister Khadijah, along with Brother Jay and Attorney Dwa. So we're with the open line, and we've been doing some dedication, Brother Jay, to some of our pioneers.
Good morning, South Louisiana. Welcome to another edition of the Open Line Radio Show on KIEE 88.3 FM. It's Black History Month, but it's Black History Month and Black History 365 here at the Open Line Radio Show. Again, thank the staff and management, Mr. John Freeman, Charlie, and the whole gang, and all the wonderful and progressive talk shows. I call it progressive, that's just me. For having the concept of having these shows and entertainment venues for our people to communicate in a great manner that we listen every, I'm throwing words into the pot, Sister Khadijah. I haven't seen you in a month. Now you got me tongue-tied. Good thing I have AI voices to read my announcement.
Okay, right. And you also got to do a little bit something about dementia and everything, because evidently it's kicking in.
Dementia that's a term that we're going to have to get a medical expert. Before you use those words on this show, all right, we want to be sure that we did our research, right? When you throw out dementia,
yes, Alzheimer's, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well.
Conveniently forget.
So you forgot to come last week.
No, you already know. I gave you 2 weeks' notice that I had a doctor appointment.
Oh, I thought there was a permanent 2 weeks notice.
And the doctor appointment is something that you don't do over the phone. So, it's something that you have to do in person.
So you were dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's, and you forgot to tell me that you were going to the doctor to check on it.
Okay. All right.
Well, we jest. I'm just so glad to see her back so we could banter back and forth like that.
I'm waiting for Attorney
Well,
Dwa.
we're going to get her on the line in a few. Again, a shout out to Miss Joyce Vallow, New Iberia.
Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Miss
I know
Agnes.
it had to be a rough pregnancy with this one right here.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, Mom, no.
You know she's back in the house. Shout out to Miss Agnes Dalcor, another loyal listener too, and Miss Frida called the People's Tech and Entertainment Show Saturday, and she had some great ideas. And still for the other caller,
yes,
hopefully we could get that.
Miss Frida.
We could compile that information on some of the people who made those inventions and take it to a local publication that wants to, run it. So hopefully we get that done. Sister, go ahead, and I'm going to try to get Attorney Dwa on the line.
Well, one thing for sure, we want to whatever form of prayer you do, or how do you believe in praying, we want to keep the people in Turkey, in Africa, we want to keep them in our prayers daily. I mean, the earthquake, and the people that got shot in Michigan, senseless violence, and horrific incident in this time of turmoil here in the United States, we have got to try to realize that, you know, we all endure trauma at different aspects of our lives. However, when you see the devastation and it just brings tears to your eyes, to your heart. You just can't fathom that something like this could actually go on. And so we just need to keep these people in our daily prayers, the babies, the children, mothers and fathers. I think this morning we had someone, 2 little girls that were saved, but her mother, father, and they all died. So this is really, really some trying times as we speak right now. Also, I have 10 companies that profited from the slave trade. You know, and it's no secret that slavery rests at the foundation of American capitalism and is often with the sugar, tobacco, cotton plantation that fueled the Southern economy. What many may not know is that slavery also rests at the foundation of many notable corporations. The New York Life to Bank of America, you know, they all benefited from slavery.
Well, sister, thank you for that Black History moment. We have Attorney Smith on the line.
Okay, I will stop for Attorney Smith.
Welcome back, Attorney Smith.
Good. Attorney Dwight, how you doing?
Good morning. How are y'all?
All right. Missing you.
I needed an attorney when she came in here. She wasn't here last week, and she came in here full blasting on me, Attorney Smith.
Oh,
what can I do as a ordinary, co-host or apprentice, like she always called me? What can I do to mitigate Sister Khadijah's always, whatever.
Well, Attorney Dwight, let me suggest something.
Did y'all work that out, or do I need to come in the middle of that?
No, you sure don't.
Yes.
Let me say this. Maybe you could explain what a bill of information is, because he's accusing your padre of something that is not accurate. So, what would be a bill of information in attorney language?
We play wordsmiths on this show. We always throw in different padre. I mean, that's a
Absolutely.
female, male, female. I don't know.
Lord.
Okay,
Well, so a bill of information, that's a criminal term, and that's the same thing as an indictment. So it's basically a formal notice that's telling you what you're being charged with. So that's what that is.
Okay, all right. And who gets the bill of information, Attorney Dwight?
So a bill of information or indictment, that's something that the grand jury, they get a grand jury together in a room, give them all the evidence, and see whether or not the grand jury thinks that they should be charged with something. And the person that gets it will be the DA or the U.S. attorney, depending on whether or not it's state or federal.
Okay, and how do you apply to become a grand juror?
So the juries are picked from what's called a jury veneer, V-E-N-I-R-E, which is basically a list of registered voters. That's where they pick people from.
Okay, a list of registered voters.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because like I've been trying to become a grand juror for so long. I've never been picked as a juror, and I'm one that wants to serve. I am that juror that wants to serve.
It's weird how they do that.
I'm telling
I've
you.
never even been picked for jury duty either. It's very, very weird. My daughter has, though.
Okay.
So it's random.
Sure, I've been in this business for like a good 50 years and never been picked. That's not right. I don't know who you complain to.
Well, just become a fine, upstanding citizen, and you'll get picked. So, I have a question, Attorney Smith. This is related to some things in the news. What happens if you find yourself, your medical information has been leaked on social media? I know in New Orleans, according to the Advocate article, the LCMC health system in New Orleans and the Willis-Knighton Medical Centers in Northwest Louisiana have been named in a class action lawsuit targeting a growing group of hospital systems accused of sharing confidential patient information with social media companies. So what if I find myself in a situation where I know my medical information has been leaked on social media, what can I do as an ordinary person?
So it sounds like they're doing what they can do, which is to file a lawsuit, because that's a violation of HIPAA. So I'm assuming what the lawsuit is about is them sharing people's personal medical information. So that's what can be done about it.
Mm-hmm. And you would advise anyone who suspects that's happening to seek the counsel of an attorney, and even with those class action suits, don't just jump into a class action suit, and even if it's a valid one, because they got so many fake ones or one that probably not going too far and you might not get anything. Get yourself your own personal attorney. That's what you advise? I don't know.
Absolutely. And before we go any further, let me throw out my normal disclaimer. Okay. Any information obtained here today is strictly informational, no attorney-client relationship or privilege has formed. If y'all need to contact me, you can contact me at 337-534-4020. Once again, 337-534-4020. Yeah, so absolutely. Back to what you were saying about the class action lawsuit. They send so many papers out about them. I get those things all the time. And like you said, some of that stuff might be a scam, some may not. So get with you a reputable attorney just to kind of vet it out and see if there's something that you should be a part of.
Okay, so all right, since they took your medical information without giving you without asking for your approval, isn't that the same thing as what they do with that DNA? The police department can go ahead and pull your DNA when it comes down to solving crimes, something like that. I'm trying to remember.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Are you saying that they're using DNA that's already in the system when they try to match it up and see if...
Well, yes, they have this specialist, and when they have unsolved murders, she goes back and she just do a complete genealogy report, and on that genealogy report, she just go ahead and she just take examples or take blood. I mean, she's taking something.
Well, one of the things we discuss on the People's Tech and Entertainment Show, that's technology. You know how people upload their information to those genealogy sites and, and want to be matched, finding all.
For that 21andMe and all that stuff.
Well, these companies are actually selling data to private companies that works with law enforcement. Oh. And it's perfectly legal from what I heard. I mean, we got an attorney on the line, but I'm just saying from what I've read. And my research on that type of situation.
We don't know what the contractual agreement was for them to get on those sites, because I'm not on any of that. I know they have their different stuff. My friends tell me about the 21andMe and all of that stuff where you can do the ancestry search and all of that stuff. So I don't know if maybe there's some fine print that says that they're able to do whatever they want to do with it. I'm not sure. So you have to look at that as well.
Yes, and it's like if you want, I wanted to find out what tribe I was from South Africa, because I really thought I was from the Mozambique country. But when they started asking me all of these different questions and stuff, I'm saying, that don't have nothing to do with what tribe I'm trying to find out I'm from, how many births you've had, how many, I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, the question is, you would ask,
have to watch that stuff.
The question you would ask attorney, does the government have right to your personal data if you're not under any kind of criminal investigation? Or what's the criteria for them getting hold to your information like that? Is it something that they got to take before a court and get a warrant on? Is it part of all everyday investigation tools that law enforcement use? This is the clarity that sometimes people want to know about.
So the thing is, I can't really answer that. It just depends. Let me give you a good example of that. I do a lot of federal criminal work. So if y'all know anything about the difference between state cases and federal cases, in my opinion, with the state cases, they'll charge somebody and then try to build a case. With the federal cases, it's the total opposite. They will get warrants for phone taps, all of that stuff. that's signed by judges way before they even indict anybody, so that they can have the evidence and stuff in advance, so that when they come indict you, a lot of the times they'll have a tight case. So it just depends. So I'm not sure, you know, what they're doing in the background, or it might be a valid reason that they need to get this information. So it just depends.
Right. And the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. Can you explain those two differences?
So basically, one is with hard labor, one with or without hard labor, one is not. And it's a time period as well, anything that's a year or more.
All right.
Misdemeanors are, I guess you can say, the lower class crimes, and felonies are the higher class crimes, if you will, because they require more time, more fees, different stuff like that.
Okay. And so for child support, they consider it's not a misdemeanor. They consider back child support a felony?
No, I don't know about that one. I don't think it's a felony. It's what's called quasi-criminal, because if it gets to that point and there's a contempt, you could go to jail for it. But when it gets to that point, like they've sent out so many letters, or they set it for court a couple different times, try to get people to pay and all of that. So I wouldn't say that that's a felony, because it's different time limits that they give them. Like they might say, okay, you're going to jail for 30 days. Like right. I've never seen anybody going to jail for a couple years for child support.
But I mean,
what happens is a majority of the time they're already maybe in jail for something else, and then they have that as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things I was looking at the other day, a clip someone sent me, they were holding a press conference in Harris County, Texas, and that was concerning the number of inmates who have died in the Harris County lockup. In last year was it was over, I think, 40 to 50, and this year started off almost the same bat. And the thing is, and that applies to all jails, when someone dies in a lockup, and what mechanism does a loved one have in the family to find out, well, let's say to find out the statistics on the number of people who might have, you know, a situation might have happened in a certain jurisdiction. I think the state legislative have to be more transparent, and that should be coming in the form of changes to the criminal justice laws as far as information. I think when lockups and law enforcement jurisdictions have that much power not to give people information about family members, I think that's a crime within itself. You know, so that's something I just want to add to it. And also, I was reading about where Jefferson Parish Sheriff Department, which is always under scrutiny, has an issue with them destroying records about certain employees who worked worked within the Jefferson Parish Sheriff Office, destroying the records of officers who have been you know, dealing with misconduct, who've been doing some misconduct. And I think that's another law that the criminal justice people in Baton Rouge and in this state should be, and even on a federal level, should be addressing these officers who get away with a lot of stuff. And, well, not getting away. They've been engaging in misconduct, and just like employers, moving them around to another job description, and then nobody knows what type of person they are.
Right, and a couple episodes ago, I remember, I forget the young lady's name, but she was on and she was saying that they have a database that has something like that. Yeah,
it is, and there's several databases around the country, but it's not a official state and federal sanctioned database. This is my point, and I love the ACLU and the sister that was on. The point is having something federal and having something state sanctioned is the key, because this is what's part of the issues that when these families spoke last week, and Miss Mona Green was there from the parent of Mr. Ronald Green. When she spoke over there in Congress, one of the things I think Attorney Haley and all of them who were there was pushing for a database. Those who were there pushing for a database on these officers, a federal database on these officers who engage in misconduct.
I mean, that's interesting. I'm sure at some point in time they will get that established. And the one that she was referring to, I hadn't looked on it, so I'm not sure exactly what's on it or what it looks like. Did y'all get a chance to look at that?
No, but there's another one. Matter of fact, in a clip, if we have some time today, we'll play a clip of the ACLU article that was on the Louisiana Illuminator site. It's a fine website, sister. You check it out, Attorney Smith. Check it out, Sister Khadijah, and all those who listen. The Louisiana Illuminator. Go and check it out. And the article lists another database that gave Shreveport police, which is in the limelight now. Shreveport had a number of killings at the hands of police, a number of violation of people's civil rights, and they're under scrutiny too. And I think the next move, the Justice Department going to be having a town hall in Shreveport, Sister Khadijah, soon.
Yeah, Shreveport is bad. I'm from Shreveport, so I'm well aware of all of that.
Yes. All right, Sister Khadijah, you got some playing cards on the job. Don't make me sanction you today with attorney here.
No, those are just black
history cards.
Yeah,
Amen.
Black history.
Are they black history cards?
Yes,
okay.
I got scared.
yes. Black history cards from the Patrice Lumumba. And it's 52 cards of our people that done so much in history. Now. Back to Attorney Dwyer. Like in a criminal case, if the police officer wants to get a warrant to search your home, a search warrant, and what they have to do, they have to gather their information and bring it to one of their judge, bring it to their judge, and all the judge have to do is just sign it or look over it and sign it.
So what happens here, especially in Lafayette Parish, the 15 JDC, first of all, they have to have what's called probable cause.
Probable cause.
You can't just go and get a warrant and say, hey, I just want a warrant to just go check this out. You have to have probable cause. And then they have to put together an affidavit. And I know here our commissioner does the majority of this, and he looks over it to make sure there is probable cause. And if he finds that there's probable cause, then he'll sign the affidavit and the warrant, and they're able to go and to execute that warrant.
Okay. You said they have to have probable cause, then they have to have an affidavit with the probable cause.
Right. They're supposed to be showing that this is the probable cause. This is why we think that there's some kind of criminal activity going on. List out the bullet points of, okay, this is what I saw, this is what I believe is going on because of this situation, because of this situation.
Okay.
Like, you're not supposed to just be able to just get a warrant. You have to show there's probable cause.
Okay, all right, but you have to show probable cause. Okay, and that is the same thing like if you get stopped and they ask you to search your car. You got stopped because of probable cause or because of something that they suspected, which is also probable.
So it's a reasonable suspicion is what they'll say is the reason that they stopped you, because they have a reasonable suspicion.
A reasonable suspicion.
I don't know that you have drugs in your vehicle or something like that.
Okay. Yes.
And then they may find something that's probable cause. Like, let's say if you have a bag of weed sitting on the seat, they can see that. So normally they're not able to search your vehicle. So of course, if you're stopped by a police officer and they ask to search your vehicle, the answer is no. And then secondly, they have exceptions to that where they don't have to go and get a warrant, where they have what's called plain sight, where they can see the weed, plain smell, like they might be able to smell it. And they changed the law in your homes that if they come up to the door and they smell weed, that's not probable cause for them to search. But that's not for the vehicles, which I thought they would do it for the vehicles too, but it's not.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
that's what happens in that situation.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. You have a caller? You have a question or a comment for Attorney Dwyer?
I have a question.
You own.
I am so glad I heard this on this morning about the stopping of the vehicle. My son had got stopped last week. They said the first it was improper lane usage. I guess he didn't put his signal light on. And before the cop could have asked him for his driver's license or his registration, he asked him if he had a gun in his Jeep. And he was like, first he's like, I was going to say no. Then he said, I said yes. He said, because I've never been in trouble before. I've never been in, with the law enforcement. And he's 30 years old. So I was wondering if it's stereotype because when he was driving, he's a young black male.
Right.
Don't look his age. He looks like he's 16, 17 years old. But, and I was worried because me and him was on the phone, and he works, early in the morning. He has to be to work for 4 o'clock in the morning. And so me and him was talking, and when I heard a root, he said, Mom, I'm almost home. He had got off by then. He said, Mom, I'm almost home. And then I heard the siren. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a cop stopper. So when I kept calling him twice, he didn't pick up. So I was just wondering if that's the first thing they could ask you if you have weapon in the car. Are they supposed to ask you, can I see your driver's license and your registration?
I mean, they do it different ways. To me, what they're supposed to do is ask you if you have your driver's and your license and your registration. I mean, but you do know that it's not illegal for you to have a gun in your car if you have it legally. Now, there are some people, if you're a felon, they have a crime called felon in possession of a firearm, so that is illegal for them. But if you have a concealed carry Louisiana is open carry, but it's not illegal unless there's something else that comes with it for you to have a gun in your car.
That's the way he go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he works at so much things is happening around. I was scared that he even got one because, he's never, like I said, he's never been in trouble with the laws and nothing like that. So I do believe, too, they stereotype him because of what he was driving, basically.
Probably so. And we know that that's been going on for years. So, I mean, probably so. But at the end of the day, we have to do our best to get out of this situation to live to fight another day. Now, we know that there have been situations where we've been asked for driver's license, ID, all of that stuff, and then still been shot. But, in that situation, all you can do is try to cooperate as much as you can. And there was nothing wrong with him telling them, yeah, I have a gun. You're not doing anything.
Right. So he had a license. He had a license permit to carry the gun.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so did he get a ticket? Did he get a ticket?
He did get the ticket for improper because I was like, what did he stop you for? And he said improper lane usage. And I'm thinking maybe he forgot to put his signal light on. He didn't tell me but he just said improper.
And I was about to say, what was the reason? So they didn't tell him?
Yeah, he said
improper lane usage, and I'm thinking that he didn't
which means what?
You have not put your signal light on, and he said
right.
So I guess because I said we was talking because he was just getting off for work. So
right.
Well, at least it's a good ending to this situation.
Tell him be careful because you remember the young man in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Philando Castile. Actually, when an officer asked him if he had any weapons, he said, "Yes, I'm a licensed carrying gun on," and he still was shot point blank in his chest. So be careful out there, people. We're dealing with some people in the system who use their discretion on crime stops.
Right.
However they want it.
And it's sad that that's the kind of stuff that happens.
Okay. And one of our sister was kind of because the third time as I called, he finally picked up, and then I said, "Do I need to come meet you?" Because I work on the road as well, and I was not too far from where he was getting off, where they stopped him, and he's like, "Mom, I'm okay." He was just looking for his insurance card. And I said, and he said, "Send me a copy of the insurance card," and I was like, "Okay," and I sent him a copy of it. Because, I guess he couldn't find it in his glove compartment at the time. And actually, we got some new insurance, and the cards were home, but I had a copy on my phone where I could have sent it to him.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so
Well,
much.
I'm glad he's okay because we know that situation definitely could have went another way.
We want to remind. Okay, thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
We want to remind people that we're live streaming, live broadcasting, also on AOC website at aocinc.org /watch. Also on cable TV in Lafayette, on Cox Cable, that's Cox 15, and LUS Channel 3 in Lafayette. So we're the all media, all platform. We're also on Facebook, on the Open Line Facebook page, or on Sister Khadijah's personal page or my personal page, I think.
Yes, and definitely. Definitely.
I love the attorney laugh. I miss her laughter in the audience.
You think you miss it?
I'll be back in person next week.
Bring the warrants, sister. Bring the warrants. So look, one of the things, sister, can I go segue into the thing about what happens when someone applies to get one of these abortion pills, and now the courts are involved, right? They don't want people to be sent or order the abortion pills, and so there's a big fight. I think we got to call it. Then we could go back into it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay, caller. You're on.
Yes, good morning to all of you. I'm the one that called on last week about having the inventors put in a Lafayette paper and the New Iberia paper, because I'm always in awe every day on 88.3 when they announced the different ones that invented different things, like the folding chair.
Yeah.
And so many things. And I think, people need to be aware of that. So I was trying to see how could we accomplish this and get it in a paper.
Well, just from the top of my head, I know one way of accomplishing something is like paying for it, and that's probably going to be too much money to have a couple of hundreds of pages in the newspaper, because we invented a lot of things, just didn't get credit, and sometimes we got a little bit credit, but as for the monies that arrive from the invention,
Well, I had one gentleman right after I called. He was willing to donate and go into it. I mean, it's a lot of people out there. We have lawyers. Attorney Dwa. We have, people that if they're really willing to have this done, it can be accomplished. But when you're trying to do something on your own, it's hard. You have to have people that's willing and have the same mindset as you do.
Well, hopefully we could meet on that one day, and we could get some people together and see how we could move forward.
Okay, I don't want to take up too much because I know you're with the Attorney Dwa. I do have a question because I heard this morning on the news this man, he spent 28 years in prison, falsely accused. So I'm thinking in my mind, this man spent 28 years and only to find out that someone else lied, and that caused him to spend 28 years in prison. So how can we have it law in effect for the people that done that, for them to have some kind of penalty on them?
It seems like an act of Congress legislation.
Well, think about it. They need to start passing some laws because there's too many people that's in prison for years and years and years only to find out that they shouldn't have been there.
So you say sanction the prosecutors that put him there, and knowing that they didn't do their full work of trying to investigate who really done it, right? Go after the prosecutors.
Right, and the person that did not tell the truth.
Yeah. Well, Senator John Kennedy has an opposite of that. He's trying to advance a bill called the or sanction the woke prosecutors law, meaning any prosecutor that been lenient on certain people who commit crimes. Yes, unbelievable. Louisiana. That's why I segue into this other article about Louisiana being the least educated state in the union. But anyway, John Kennedy wants to advance a bill to go after prosecutors that are much more lenient in their prosecution of a trial. Why don't he have a bill to go against anti-woke prosecutors who let police officers get away with murder? Because we sure have a whole long list of those in the state of Louisiana.
Right. But you see, that's why I'm saying we have to get together in a process that's going to have some of these things done. If we could talk about it from now and 30 years from now, but if we don't get action and start acting on it, it'll never get done.
Yes. Thank you, caller.
And thank you so
much. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.
You too.
Wow,
it's just really so much on both sides of that, though, because with what you're talking about with the being lenient with the prosecutors, I mean, it's so much that goes into a criminal case. Like, you have some people that want to accept the plea, and then it's not just them. Like, the prosecutors talk to the victims as well to get their take on it as well. So, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's subjective, and what's lenient to me is not lenient to somebody else.
Well, that's Louisiana for you. Louisiana was mentioned in a Wallet Hub posting, and all the news media pick up on it. Louisiana's about, 48 in their ranking. I gave you that, sister. Gave you that article?
I'm not.
I'm just reading from the top. Louisiana is the third least educated state, followed only by, we're always running a race with Mississippi and West Virginia, according to Wallet Hub analysts. The Wallet Hub report compared that 50 states on educational attainment and quality of education. The report found Louisiana ranked 47 in percentage of residents with high school diplomas, 49th in percentage of residents with associate degrees or some college experience, 47 in experience of residents with bachelor's degrees, and 45th in the percentage of residents with graduate or professional degrees. The study also ranked Louisiana at 39th for the average university quality and 39th in the racial gap. That's the key thing. And educational attainment. So John Kennedy, he's know what audience he's playing to.
Right.
Wow. Sister Khadijah, I know you would have a lot to say on that.
Well, no,
you love your state. I know you love your state. I love my people in the state.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the state itself.
I mean, we gotta take it as collectively, not as collectively, because of the simple fact that a lot of us are have educated ourselves or have gotten different degrees and stuff. It's just not enough of us, and it's like they're saying is that Louisianians are dumbers, you know, and things like that, and that's not accurate.
Well. They're rating it by
population,
by the statistics and stuff like that. It's not just that what they're saying is that we dumb, saying that our level of getting educated, because if we being fed some crazy laws coming out of Baton Rouge, we got crazy politicians, and I have to say that we have weak politicians. Why are we consistently last in everything? You think, is there an agenda against Louisianans? Because somebody look on the map and say, let's go after Louisiana and put them write them down in the textbooks as being last and everything. I think it's because we accept all of that stuff. A lot of the stuff that we think is good for us is bad for us. We lead the nation in diabetes, heart disease, heart attacks, cancer. Why is that so? Because we accept everything they give us. And we don't want to see the logic in that, so all we do is get mad at the people who's pointing that out. So that's what I'm saying. Just go and do the research yourself. Don't listen to me. You know, I didn't write that down in the Harvard Journal or any one of the think tanks. They wrote that. They continue to write about Louisiana, even in number one in bad things in the criminal justice system, Sister Khadijah.
Yeah, oh yes. We definitely have that. Now, back to child support. You had mentioned that they supposed to. You was telling the young men not to actually sign your name as the father until you have
Absolutely not.
a
DNA.
Okay, until you have a DNA, and you could take a DNA on a child as soon as they're born, right?
Well, I learned something new. I was presenting a CLE last week, and I learned something new. So apparently, they have these new DNA tests where they can test the mothers while they're pregnant, but it's not invasive. So apparently, they test something that's in the blood or something. As it relates to the child. I'm not exactly sure, but it's new. So
indication of
just
what
want to share that with y'all as well. Yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Because what we were talking about the bill where they were talking
Pregnancy
about
support.
the father, correct, paying 50% of the pregnancy support. And I was like, well, you have up to 2 years. However, you can take a test while the mother's pregnant, but that's invasive. And somebody was telling me they have this new test where they can do that. So that's another option for fathers for y'all to look into.
My. Yes, indeed. And so we're on the line with the open line with Attorney Dua, Brother J, and myself, Sister Khadijah.
He's trying hard to be nice today.
The telephone number is 337-534-0036 or 337-534-0042. Now, Attorney Dua, back to say if you actually, we have a caller. If you actually, caller, you have a question or comment for Attorney Dua, you're on.
I have a question. Can the IRS determine which parent gets to carry the child for tax dependency if there's never been like an order by the court? I'm asking because
so it's not the IRS.
I'm sorry. I'm no longer in the RIS, and somebody else is claiming my child, and I called my work, and my work was like, well, we don't enforce who gets to claim the child. We just enforce the child support. And I'm like, y'all don't enforce the rules, the laws that surrounds that. So I was just asking, because she had told me call the IRS and ask the IRS if I can have that right. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
All right. So you want to carry your child, and because you're taking care of your child, but her boyfriend or whoever, he's claiming the child, correct?
Yeah, she let her mom claim my child, and she had been claiming my child. I never really kicked up no dust, you know what I'm saying? I mean, right. But when I found out she started letting her mom claim my child, I mean, I'm no longer in the RIS. I've been out of the RIS for like 5 years, and I'm like, well, I should be claiming her since you're not working. She said, well, no, my mom helps me out. I said, but I'm paying my child support and I do all.
But you paying your child support. All right. So let me ask you this: are you paying child support voluntarily, where you're just giving her something monthly, or is it something that's through the court or through the state?
It's through the courts.
Okay. So what they should have done, and what they usually do, is with the child support order, they put in there who's able to carry the child. But you said that she's not working, so it sounds like you would be
in Baton Rouge. And I remember talking with the district attorney about that. I said, once I'm clear of the RIS, can you please state on that pink piece of paper and file it in the court that I have that right, starting with, whatever year you think I'll be cleared. It's cleared.
Right.
And never did that, and they wanted me to reopen up another case, and they told me I have to go to court again, open up a case again if I want to claim my child. But like I was telling my worker, she's not working right now, I mean, so why it's okay for her to give her mom permission to claim my child.
So what you would need to do is
call the IRS and let them know what's going on, and they might give you that right, but we just...
So they're telling you the wrong thing. The IRS has nothing to do with that, so I don't know why they're telling you that. And this is what happens a lot of times with the state workers. Some of them are not attorneys, but they think they're attorneys, and they tell you stuff that is not correct. The IRS has nothing to do with that. What you would need to do is you would need to do that with the court. So you can do a modification so that you can get a court date and get back in the court and to be able to carry the child, especially if she's not working. But here's the thing, like he told you about the arrears, if you're in arrears by December 31st, you can't carry the child. But if you're not in arrears, then you can carry the child. And if she's not working, I don't see any reason why she should be able to carry the child if you're paying all the child support.
Right, so my words was like, other than that, I have to get permission from the mom. I'm like, I have to get permission from her.
No, you don't have to get permission from her because she's not going to agree to that. So go back to court and do it like that.
Right.
Yes.
And you know what?
That's how you do that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And
okay, no problem.
I was one of the gentlemen that I called after the lady about the invention of black folks and all that stuff.
Okay, we're going to be calling a meeting soon, and we could all get together.
Well, you need to find out who he is now.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely down to support it. If they had like a GoFundMe account just for that, I mean, I would support it.
Okay.
I mean, other than putting it in the daily advertising, we can make like a special booklet just for that, something like a quick order just for that. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
Whenever it happens, I'll be waiting for it and on the lookout for it. I'm just a supporter of it.
Okay.
And appreciate it. Thanks.
You too.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Carly, you have a
no problem.
Question?
Absolutely.
Hit it again. Hit it again.
Quick question or comment. You're on, Carla. Carla, you're on. You're on today. I mean, you're on right now.
Well, you were kind of
hung up.
She's kind of.
Carla,
so while we're waiting
put you in my customer service bin.
So the last caller made a very good point about the child support. Because a lot of people don't understand about that and carrying a child and all that. So depending on what the mother and what the father are making, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll flip the years. So this person gets to carry the child in the odd number of years and this one in the even number of years. But if the father is paying 100% of the obligation and like he was saying, this young lady is not working, how can you carry a child if you're not working? That makes no sense. And he's paying his child support. He should be able to carry the child.
Carla, you have a question or a comment for the attorney?
A comment.
You're on.
I was calling in regards to the child support. So when things go into effect with new laws and things coming into place, when a father or mother is displaced from the home in regards to allegations against the parent and they are already on child support.
Wait, say it again.
Repeat it again.
Breaking up.
Repeat it again.
I'm calling in regards to when a parent, a mother or father from the home in regards to the conduct of a person being positively.
Oh, wait. Ma'am,
are y'all able to hear because it's breaking up for me?
I'm not able.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I'm gonna say because your phone is breaking. Go ahead.
While she gets that, Attorney Dwyer, one of the things that we want to thank the callers for always being informed and engaged on this show. You know, when you come on there, we really get some phone calls. So we appreciate you being on the line, Attorney Smith.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. That's what I'm here for. I've always wanted to be an attorney since childhood to help people. So I will continue on down that path, and I will do my part to help.
Yeah, and certainly you have some other projects coming up, like the legal will clinic that you did. I think you're having some come out in the future, right?
Right. So I'm looking into a succession clinic right now. I'm just trying to get everything finalized on that. But I'll give out the date when I get everything finalized.
Okay.
You're on.
Yes, my call was I'm calling in regards to a comment of a parent being taken from the home in regards to misconduct of being under justice, of being prosecuted and having to go to prison for 30 and 40 years for an incident that was taking place of being guilty or not guilty. And the case of child support has already been in effect for years, but without the laws being in effect of something that falls into place of once a parent goes into prison, that there's no way to collect from child support, how are we able to take children in regards to dropping the case? You've given us options to drop the case, but why there's nothing in effect to help us? Because these young children are going to be 30 and 40 by the time they see their parents again, and like their whole life is in regards to either turning into something or going into another state of mind of becoming a criminal in regards to just trying to not follow their footsteps, but there's no way to look forward to understand why is there always just one parent trying to work 3 and 4 jobs to make ends meet to be here for the child, but once we drop the child support case, how is it even justification of a logical mind of stating this child needs help? So we drop the case, so this is not over a head of a parent that's been justified under something that they did or didn't do. How can we, as single parents, provide for the moment to give counseling to a child in regards to even just affect the moment of providing for the moment to help us? Because if you're giving us an option to drop the case, why are you not giving us an option to provide for them if they're incarcerated through our tax money? At least try to come up with a state of mind to help us, not hurt us at the same time.
Well, that's above my pay grade. And I need you to stay on, caller, because what we gathering is that you want something else instead of just you want the attorney to give you something else.
Right. So
yes, ma'am. I
like
want some kind of leadership in regards to helping these children, because once one parent is displaced from the home, it falls all on the other parent, and we already took place of putting them on child support. And if a parent is 30 and 40 years in prison, there's no way that we can collect to provide, and then that child's grown. So where's the gap that logically helping these kids?
Well, see, that's going to be something legally that the law doesn't deal with, because if somebody's in prison for 30, 40 years, and I'm not sure if this was before the time period of them suspending the child support while they're in prison, I understand what you're saying, like where is the money coming from, where is mental health and stuff coming from. I mean, that would be a situation where it sounds to me like maybe you need to have some kind of therapy or something for that child as far as the mental aspect of it, as far as the financial aspect of it. But I mean, you can't get blood out of a turnip. So if somebody's in prison, they obviously can't provide for the child unless they were just a millionaire and have money in the bank and have all these assets that you can draw money from. But if they're not, I mean, there is no other way, because the law provides that the mother and the father are the ones that are supposed to be taking care of the kids. So if the father's not taking care of the kids, then of course that obviously falls on the mother, unfortunately. Now, we do have this new provision that suspends the child support while they're in prison, but it doesn't say that you can't collect it once they're out of prison. And I'm assuming before they even went to prison,
it's just a back thing.
There was some arrears or something.
Building up.
Okay, it's
arrears. So I mean,
arrears.
and that's whether or not they're in prison or not. Like that happens, that there's arrears. So hopefully, eventually, that can be garnished from somewhere and can be collected from. But as far as monies from other areas, the state or nobody else has the duty of taking care of your kids. So unfortunately, that's a situation that falls on you. And I empathize with you because I've been in that situation where I've been a single parent. I'm still a single parent, so I understand. But there's no money that's coming from anywhere else, unfortunately.
And not even
your brother, Jay.
And not even the child can't possibly draw Social Security because the father has not worked enough to get his credits up in order to get money from Social Security. Correct?
Right. Correct. Even if it's $90, for a month for each child, there's something that I think that can regulate in regards to just trying to stay sustainable as just a parent thinking ahead.
That we are.
I mean, unfortunately, that's just something that we have to deal with as single mothers. I don't know any other way to put it to you. Like I said, you preaching to the choir. I know all about that.
Right. And another thing that they tell us is, get your representative, try to file a bill through legislation, and that's like not that's just about impossible. but we feeling where you're coming from, and we.
I just don't know what the bill would be though. Like, what would be the language of the bill?
Oh, what would be the
'Cause
language?
If somebody's in prison, what you can't get anything from them.
Well, yeah, you're right. You can't get it. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
You go ahead. I'm sorry. No,
I want to hear you. You're the one. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to always take good care of myself with being a mother of the best way possible, that we can think ahead and come together as one. If we have whole real conversations like this, maybe the right ear will hear it. And maybe a person with high authority can sit down and say, hey, logically, these people are going through situations that, in regards to, if we set the example and the tone now, maybe years will help our children now, if they're ever in a particular situation that we've battled with.
Yeah, that is because one thing too.
Like I said, to me, the health and the therapy aspect of it, that's something that is really resonating with me right now, because you don't want the child thinking it's my fault they're not here, this and that. You know what? All the things that children think, and then you as a mother, you need support as well.
Yes. And if anything come up, or if somebody know a way for it, then just let us know. Thank you so much, Carla.
Oh no, thank you guys for your time.
Right, and you know what?
No problem.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to get to the next caller, and you know what else too? I was thinking, you know, the prison enterprise, they pay these men like 4 cents an hour to work in the prisons. 4 cents an hour. 2 cents is taken away from taxes. What about if they just decide to pay these men with children? I mean, or just pay them minimum wage. You know, that way the monies could go somewhere else. You know, like where it should be going, to the parent. I mean, to the mother.
That sounds good in theory, but then you have to actually get that in application.
In theory.
That's the problem.
Yes, in theory. You are absolutely correct. In theory. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And so the phone line was Carly, you have a question or a comment for Attorney Dwan?
Yes, I got a quick comment, because number one, if that guy's in prison, the state making money off of him, to me that should be the state's responsibility of taking care of that child, because it got his parent in prison. If you read the Constitution, if we under their laws, it's their protection of the people that they take out of other people's lives. So you're right, Khadijah. Number one, the state should be picking that up, because they're making money off of free labor. So that parent should file against the Congress. Thank y'all.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's that's another accurate way of looking at it. Because no matter how you slice it, it's horrible. With her situation, I'm more than sure there's many like that. You know, she should be able to be on government funds, and sometimes people don't want to be on it, but sometimes that's the only way it could help you out, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a bad situation, but then you have fathers that are not in prison or jail, they're just not paying. What do you do about that situation there?
You lock them up. I mean, no, those that are not paying, there's always something that's going on. First of all, you got to identify, well, yeah, this is my actual child, and everything like that. And it doesn't matter where you're working at or what you're doing. If you're trying.
But that goes into another thing, the moral decision to have sex. That's another question.
Well,
and to engage in that type of situation where you create a child, a human being.
Okay, all right.
We heard that on Valentine's Day, y'all.
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it takes two to tango.
Absolutely. And you have to learn the lesson. And it's like after you learn the first lesson, which is the first child, you just have to realize the people that you're dealing with and see if these are actually people you want to deal with that you will want to procreate with. I mean, it's a lot. It's a spiral effect.
Yeah, it really is, because you have some fathers. white men have created a whole nother race, you know, and stuff like that when they took and raped and maimed and all this other kind of stuff. So then now we have our you know, we just have another group of people. Even when you go to the founding fathers, that rascal, you know, they had children with Sally Heming and everything like that. And it wasn't like it was a love story, but yet he don't have to pay back any type of child support, and it just trickled down.
Your lines are blowing up, sister.
Attorney Dwight, let me go ahead and answer these calls and the last call. Okay, last call for this segment. Caller, you on? Question or comment?
A comment.
Okay.
Sister Khadijah, just a few minutes ago you mentioned about free labor with inmates when inmates are locked up.
Yeah.
How they're being, you know, they're available to do free labor. Here's my thing with that. When they are incarcerated, y'all help me with this. They lose their voting rights, correct?
Right.
Yes, they do.
Correct.
Until their time is done, and then they're back in society, and they go and re-register or whatever. But for the temporary time that they're locked up, they lose that right, correct? Good. That said, so all other rights as a citizen of a state, and if they are locked up in the state that they represent or they're from, they still have all those rights, correct, to be treated in a humane way while incarcerated. Is that correct?
Go ahead. Yes, it is.
And I want Attorney Dwight to touch on that, and here's what I'm going to close with. Well, it's a situation where you can't vote because you're incarcerated. You're not considered such and such because of incarceration. But on the opposite side, you are a human being. You have rights within the parameter of a penal system. And now we're stuck in between these two catch-22s, and we don't have enough rules and law to proceed to give more, I would say, opportunities to the incarcerated folks. That's where I'll leave it. Thank you.
All right.
Wait, so don't hang up. So I need some more information because I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, we gotta let
like
him go, sister, because he running into your time, but we thank him anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead, sister.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to understand the point that he's trying to make. Yeah, they're not able to vote. They're not able to vote when they get out if they have a felony. They have an organization here called Vote, where after a certain amount of time and certain things, they are able to get their right to vote back. But it's not even about that. So he's talking about other rights. I'm trying to see what other rights he's talking about and how that links into what we're talking about as far as his child support.
Okay, sister.
Did y'all understand?
Yes, definitely.
No, we didn't.
We could continue to.
Yeah, I'm trying to what his point. I was trying to get to the point.
Yeah, we could actually continue the discussion next week. We got another segment. We got a young man just stepped into the building, and we want to get him on.
Okay.
We promise him to come back. So we definitely appreciate you, sister, and try to make it in next week because this co-host of mine she's really pushing the buttons. And she wants some type of favoritism in the court. I already see she laying the groundwork. We definitely appreciate it, sister.
Thank you so much, Attorney Dwight. There's a Beyonce song that says,
"That's my kinfolk. Leave my
women
kinfolk
rule the world." Well,
absolutely.
It's time we start adhering to that. Thank you so much, Attorney. And if anybody wants to reach you, what's your number?
Y'all need to give me in the meantime, in between time. My number is 337-534-4020. Once again, 337-534-4020. Thank y'all.
All right. Pretty interesting when it comes down to child support. That's something that's on the top burner each time. So we're going to switch right now to Mr. Jonas Richard. You have your mic, Mr. Jonas. You have him on, Brother Jay?
Yes, sir. Will.
Okay. All right. Now, Jonas, you got to tell us a little something about yourself and everything like that, and about the award that you received.
Okay. I'm Jonas Richard, Ron Richard's nephew. I grew up here in Lafayette. For the last 20 plus years, I've been in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, where I was working at IBM and a couple other technology companies. Also took a little hiatus from the tech industry and coached collegiate basketball for several years at the historically black college, Shaw University. And worked there for a couple of years. In 2010, 2011 to 2015, where we had a lot of success, real successful program, women's basketball program, since you're talking about women.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Women's program.
I know a couple of greats.
Yep. And so we had a real good run in 2010, 2011. We went to the Final Four for the NCAA Division II women's championship. And then in 2011 and 2012, we actually won the national championship in Division II women's basketball. And that was a feat that hadn't been done for over 30 years. So it was, in 30 years, that was the first time HBCU had won a national NCAA national championship at the Division II level.
So what? So you're down. You done moved back down here. You trying to coach?
Keep speaking it.
Okay.
So we're in the process of getting back to Lafayette. And the reason I'm motivated to get back here is, I looked up and I told my wife, I shared with my wife, she's actually from Lafayette as well.
Okay.
She ran track at UL or USL at the time. And we had been in North Carolina for 20 plus years, and all the lives that we impacted there in that community, it's several hundreds of young ladies that we were able to get into college through our grassroots basketball program. I looked up and I said, I've done all of this, but I still feel a void because I hadn't helped the community that helped me, helped, raise me, groom me to be able to do the things that I'm doing.
All right. So now you're looking to talk it into existence. Let's bring the basketball, girls basketball here to Lafayette. Yeah. Let's try to see that you're paid properly, your family is well taken care of, really good. So you've been handing out your resumes and everything?
Yeah, I've been passing my resumes out, but currently I'm doing my own consulting. So I'm in the IT consulting, and then I do some training, some basketball training. So I have my own consulting company. So, I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I like to be independent, working for myself, and and Brother Jay loves this, the technology side of things.
Yeah. But I'm gonna segue and jump back over to the women's basketball and I would say volleyball, because I know a few greats in history-making young lady and Sister
from New
Khadija,
Iberia, huh?
From New Iberia, Miss Jonette Baptiste Booty, the first black women's two-sport player at LSU. I had the privilege to play ball with her and to play with her sister, who's my former wife, and follow them through the years in high school and all the way to LSU. And during the times when there wasn't a lot of black players doing that. And Jonette Baptiste, she's still living now. She had some medical issues, but they were just recently honoring her at LSU. So people in New Iberia, y'all know who Jonette Baptiste Booty is and Mary Davis is. You guys, when you see them, y'all give them a salute. So they were some great athletes, New Iberia Senior High, former two sisters, Oh,
that's great.
And we played ball, Rosalind Pistol Polk.
Okay.
They play with the likes of the LSU coach now, Miss Kim Mulkey.
Okay.
We saw her.
So they were co-ed.
Excellent players.
It was co-ed, co-ed basketball?
No, it was the women's basketball team for New Iberia Senior High under
okay.
Coach Margaret Romero, and then from there to LSU.
All right.
And I played ball with them all the way, so I'm going to just say
So you
that.
were just like a sidekick.
Yeah, I didn't play ball. I played ball because that was the people I was hanging out with.
Okay.
And one was my ex-wife. So I mean, I'm just saying that. Why you force me to say things?
Well,
I'm just playing pickup.
But yeah, we played pickup and we played
pickup ball.
and had a chance to meet all those women athletes to show you how women's basketball was so dynamic. I know you brag a lot on women's baseball, softball.
Oh yes.
But that women's basketball, playing against the top athletes at that time at LSU, and seeing them, having front row, having, so many stories I could tell you, like so many things you and I have experienced as activists. Had a chance to meet Mr. Dick Gregory. You know why? His daughter played sports at LSU.
Okay.
And she slept over at my ex-wife home at one time. So I had a chance to meet him. So those experiences with we talk a lot about the NBA players and the college basketball players, but the women basketball players sometimes people just have to start looking into those sports. And so I understand where you're coming from.
Oh yeah, I mean I love, and everybody asks, why women's basketball. First and foremost, my daughter played. And she picked up a basketball. She was born here, but then we left and went to North Carolina. And she picked up a basketball at 2 years old. She that's what she wanted to do. And so we groomed that, nurtured it, put her in the right places to get the right amount of exposure. And she actually got a full scholarship to pretty historical college in High Point, North Carolina. It's real prestigious, and it's comparable in price to Duke University. Right. So it's pretty expensive, and I didn't have to pay 1 red cent.
Oh, okay.
While she was playing, and the effort every summer, running up and down the roads, like parents say, running up and down the roads with the summer basketball AAU programs. Right. It paid off. I invested that time and that energy and that effort into her and a lot of, her friends, her teammates, to see them successful. And, it was so empowering to see the confidence that they have.
Are there any AAU teams in this area? Are you thinking about?
No, we've already done that. Okay. We've already started that and established it. It's an affiliate program to my program in North Carolina. It's the Carolina Flames is in North Carolina, but we started a program about 2 years ago, right before the pandemic hit, the Louisiana Flames.
Oh, I'm glad you said, Louisiana Flame, because I thought you was going to come up with that other name and stuff like that. But so your primary goal here is to let everybody know you're down, you're here. You have the talent, the expertise to coach or to come back home. And you have a business. The business is
I do IT consulting, yeah.
And what that is?
So
said one who don't turn on the computer.
Yeah, so anything related to a computer, give guidance, provide insight on, especially for small and medium businesses, when they can't afford the, enterprise level type consulting. Developing websites, web design, process implementation, end-to-end integrations for for their websites. So the web design, web development, which encompasses or includes integrations to make their sites a whole lot better and a whole lot more interactive.
A lot of things people are doing right now is the online purchases and so forth. And Sister Khadija, because I build, I'm somewhat of a novice website developer for my own enterprises. And one of the things that people are getting to these Shopify stores, and a lot of people have products to market. For instance, I'm going to just say your pecan candies.
Fry pyramid pecan candies.
A Shopify store would be great for her. Would fit her niche. And I know this brother right here probably is big time into those type of
I have a couple of Shopify stores that, me and my partners have built and designed the clothing line. So he's back in North Carolina. He does a lot of that. He's real more active into it. I'm behind the scenes on that. Where if he needs some development, ideas or upgrades, or updates, redesigns, those sort of things, and then just giving them, insight on, what's hot out there, what's selling. So we get into the Shopify as well,
and even consulting you on issues about streaming, because we do a lot of I do a lot of streaming, live streaming, and a lot of people want to have their online presence in the streaming. Like I got a couple of online streaming platforms for media.
Right.
Some of the things we do. In your opinion, you see a niche in this area for people putting out their own, like live stream podcasts or so.
A lot of the content creators.
Yeah,
and I've seen a few come out of this area. And I think it would be great if it was mainstream, more mainstream,
Right.
because the culture here is so unique, so different. I love it. And, I don't, shy away from it. And, I traveled the world, and everybody else. Anytime you tell somebody you're from Louisiana, the first thing they say is you're from New Orleans. And they're like, no, I'm not from New Orleans. I'm from Lafayette. Yeah. And, it's 2 hours west of New Orleans. It's a great place. It's, pretty much known for, the oil field. Now they're diversifying that, and more technology is coming to the area. Because when I first got out of school, I graduated from, I attended Southern University, and I was a mechanical engineering major and a computer science major. And then I transferred to Tougaloo College in Tougaloo, Mississippi. That's north of Jackson. And I got my degree in math and computer science. And when I came back, there was nothing, available. So it was nothing available for me. And so I had to go where the industry was. It was booming in North Carolina. That's why they call it Research Triangle Park. And then a lot of the, you got fintech, with your financial technology, and then you have biotech. So you have a lot of the medical industry there. So I worked with IBM. I worked with Glaxo Wellcome, who was more on the biomedical side of the house. So that was, something that, it was available to me there, and the opportunity was there. But it wasn't here. And now, they're doing a great job of bringing that technology and that industry into, the Lafayette area.
Mm-hmm. And in your endeavors, I mean, how important it would be for the young people in this area to encompass, we got a lot of wannabe athletes, a lot of people who not probably going to make it, but you could have a fallback, a fallover, like we say in tech world, a fallover.
Yeah, a failover plan.
Yeah, and so a failover plan would be getting into tech, getting into coding, getting into IT services.
Oh, definitely. That was my biggest thing, and and my uncle asked me, Ron asked me, how did I get into the technology?
Tell it.
Yeah, I'll tell the story. Everything that we get computers in the house, we'll get any little electronic gadget. I like to reverse engineer it. I'll pull it apart, see how it works, see the the inner workings of it, and then put it back together and see if it actually worked. Wiring the house. I did this when I was young. Wiring the house, we only had one phone jack. So I wired the house to have phone jacks in every room. This was young. This was before I got into high school, actually.
Almost like me with the cable. Years ago now.
Yep, laying the cable down.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued by technology. I did a project in the 7th grade with from Miss Cravens. She was my English teacher at the time. And I did, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the thing I said was a computer analyst. So I've had the privilege of working over the last 20 years in pretty much the best of both worlds. Basketball, because I played collegiate basketball. And that's how, I was able to afford I had a scholarship. So I was able to, get that education, get that degree because of my athleticism. And, I didn't shy away from, the technology or the challenge of being a technology major when, a lot of the people that were, a lot of my teammates were majoring in something totally different, something that was not as hard, that would consume a lot of the time. So I burned the candle at both ends. So being good in basketball, working out, and then in the evenings, spending, hours and hours, countless hours in the computer lab, writing programs at the time. So, that was, and then the, computer science degree, it's like a key. It unlocked the door to so many more opportunities. I'm a interpersonal person. I'm not a shy guy. I'm not, reserved. I like to talk. I like to be amongst people. So the coding got me into the field, and then the field just opened up a lot of things. So I was able to be, account management and staying real technical. So like a technical account manager for various companies that I worked with, more consulting, getting there, dealing with the individuals, handling escalations, that sort of thing in the technology. When software would break, you'd have a bug in the system. I could determine where the bug was, but then I'll hand it over to the hardcore developers and let them do the work and patch it up, and then I can implement it, install it, whatever. Configure it. So those were some of the things that I found my niche in the technology industry.
Well, I know one of the main things with the Apple computers that they say that it's 99% bug free, but then you get them bugs all over, and you don't even know where they're coming from. It just don't make, and they're making big time money because when you get a bug, it stops everything. Then you got to go back and bring it to them and stuff. So what is it that you are actually trying to accomplish coming back home where you need it?
That was a Chinese spy balloon. But Sister Khadija, you here? I know, but that's a very broad question. But what we trying to say, you got a young man here who's a great expert on that.
Right.
Now you could ask him the question that you always want to ask him: what is AI?
Let me answer the other question of what I want to accomplish.
What you gonna accomplish here?
Just building, and I love the sports and the entertainment, but right now, however, I won't use but. However, it's we're consumers of technology. You see all the young people with their phones, their heads in their phone, on all the social media, and we're just constantly consuming the information. And I don't want us just to be consumers. I want us to be innovators and creators. So there's some programs out there that can, like Roblox. It's okay for the little kids to look at the Roblox and play the games, but how about teaching them how to build those games? Teaching them how to code those games, teaching them, how the technology actually works. Like you said, Brother Jay, teaching them what AI is, and don't let them think it's just robotics. AI and machine learning, they pretty much go hand in hand. So it's just an algorithm of, information that has been gathered and obtained, and, it's able to, and you're like, wow, it's able to give me all this information because it's been gaining information from you, over a period of time, so it knows what you like, knows what you things that you browse, things that you look at, it knows it, so it sends it back to you.
And that's a good ploy. So that's a good ploy because I was on my phone and I seen something that I had really lacked, and I said, if I see this stuff one more time, it must be a sign from God telling me to order it. And all the while,
that's AI.
It's artificial intelligence?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah. I talked about that briefly, about something that you might look up on Google, right?
Yeah.
And if you have connected devices in your house, like Alexa devices, your smart TV, and all that connected, well, that will show up in your on your television commercial if you're watching YouTube. The same item you was Googling a week ago, it shows up, and it inundates you with every connected devices, picks up the algorithm, and they know, it's like I'm saying, oh man, they already know what I want.
Yeah,
no, but
they do.
Just because you saw something at one time and you focus on that, or you might have stayed long on that certain page or that item, they're gonna
put it in all your
Into the-
connected devices, So
Yeah, so it tracks you in advertisement and all that stuff.
Caller, you have a question or comment for Mr. Jonas? Sorry, caller.
Call back.
Yes, call back. Question or comment for Mr. Jonas Richard. So, Mr. Jonas Richard. Okay, that's the caller. Caller, you're on.
Yes. Good morning, Sister Khadija and Brother Jay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry I forgot your guest name, but
Jonas.
I want to. Pardon me?
Jonas Richard. I can't call him. Mr. because you much older.
Okay. I just want to commend my brother for his entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And for his knowledge in technology, and bringing this knowledge back home and implementing some of these programs to help some of our young people. And I also want to say this: you're very smart, my brother. You're very intelligent. But don't ever forget one thing: that all good gifts come from heaven above, and you have to acknowledge that you were not born with it. You were actually born with it, but it's God's gift. So give all glory and honor to Him for what you have, that gift of entrepreneurship to help people in life. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And when you
Thank you, caller.
And when you think about that also, you could also have like a AI van traveling to some of our areas, our low income areas, and hey, I know people will have to pay for something, but teaching them how to go underneath or beside the computer, that in itself it's another avenue.
Yeah, that field, it spans a lot. Even with the recent layoffs, there's still a lot of unfilled jobs in the industry, in the technology industry, and everybody gets kind of excited or a little terrified about the layoffs, the recent layoffs. But at your large companies, at your Googles, which is a technology incubator, they have some very intelligent individuals that work there.
They announced some layoffs last week, I think, in a couple of tech sectors dealing with that.
Yeah, but there's so many
much
jobs out there, that people can fill here.
Even with the creation of what we call Chat GPT.
ChatGPT.
Right here, I just saw where they had a press conference where Microsoft, they came out and introduced their version with the Bing search engine in the new Microsoft browser. So I know, Sister Khadija, but look, you go want to do that term paper at the last minute, and you could actually cheat a little bit. But I don't know if your professor going to catch on to you. Got to do ChatGPT.
Well, you know what else that I kind of like learned about the computer, or it kind of like it's a great asset, but it also like dumb you down. It don't let them brain cells. Well, at one time you could remember about 20 phone numbers in your head. Now, because of the phone, you just press, and the number's not going to your head at all.
It's a matter of taste. I'm going to just say it like that. Just like I asked you, would you prefer an Apple or a PC?
Which one is the better? I thought the apples, you don't get no bugs, but the bugs still come. They still come in there.
Nothing's 100% bug proof.
Right, but then I like the fact that you're saying is that you would love to be employed with a nice salary, coming back home and teaching, coming back home and being where you grew up.
Just involved, being impactful in the community.
Yeah.
Being impactful in the community, and teaching the young people, our young people. It's more than just sports and entertainment. But however, that's a good segue into the tech industry as well. So music, athletics, and it just teaching them how to bridge the gap, how technology applies to what they're doing, how technology applies to the music, if they're aspiring artists,
right?
How technology applies to athletics, if their aspirations is to get into college and maybe go to the professional levels, professional ranks, and there's just opportunity out there, and how they're all intertwined, and come up with great projects that that would kind of feed that drive and that determination and that passion, just to show them that, hey, it's there. If they want to be in the medical industry, same thing. It's technology is everywhere.
Right. And with the podcast, right there at AOC, you have AOC. I don't know if you've been there yet, but it teaches you to production, to have your own TV program. Media production.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Even in New Iberia, we've always talking about, we need to expand those youngsters, give them something that will keep them entertained and educate them simultaneously.
Right.
And that's what you need. And then you're handsome, you look young, you love to talk. You know how to talk, and you know your craft. So even that in itself keeps things moving.
Yeah, it's just and then being personable. That adds a whole lot more to it, and being somebody that understands. And I stay involved in a lot of the technology, a lot of the applications, the apps that the young people are on. I'll get on, I'll be engaged with it. So even when I was coaching in college, coached my club basketball team, just being in the know, not trying to be at their level, but being in the know of what they're doing, what's out there, what they're looking at, what they're engaged in, just to have an idea so I understand where they're coming from. So I understand them a whole lot better.
All right. So you're able to take like a calendar. No, take like Black inventors and put it on what? Put it on a spreadsheet so that it can everybody can see it. Or how would that work if we wanted to like have something electronically?
You build a website.
Oh, you got to build the website.
Well, you don't have to, but I think that would be a great vehicle to have, and where it's a responsive website, and you can actually when a responsive website, so you can actually use it on your phone as well, on any device. So your phone, your tablet, and your computer, that would be like a database, like spreadsheet database of information, and given. And then there are probably some things out there on Black inventors. If we Google it, we probably can find it, and it's a database out there that gives tidbit of information about all our Black inventors. But the kids probably know how to find it a whole lot faster than a lot of us. So because they're using the technology constantly every day.
So we're having like a talk down, call out. Any entrepreneurs or people that's with have real business mind and want to get in touch with Mr. Jonas Richard and dialogue some more. How would they get in touch with you? You have a website, or do you?
I'm in the process of building my website right now, but you can reach me via telephone number 337-656-4281. 337-656-4281, or via email, and it's jonas.richard@gmail.com.
And even if you don't have access to do that, or they could go to the Open Line Radio, Facebook page, Open Line Radio Facebook, and just send us a message, and we'll pass it on to him.
And then AOC would be able to see.
Call this number right here and ask for Jonas.
All right, this is a live segment. It's going to be aired a couple of more times. AOC will be able to air the program. But I think that's really good. I think that that just having this AI van. AI van.
Self-driving van you talking about?
No, the one where he would go to different areas.
Presenting. Okay.
Go to different areas and teach teach some of us. Have a class for those over 60, those over 50. Just to learn your basic. Caller, you have a question or comment for Mr. Jonas?
Yes, I have a question. Hey, Jonas, how did you hear about KIEE?
Okay. It would be from his uncle, the man with the $1 million voice, Ron Richard.
Okay, he's Ron's nephew. Okay,
Yes,
I know Ron from playing music. Well, yeah, a lot of things y'all are talking about, awesome. You know, the kids today, they need an early introduction into what they can do with technology. A lot of them don't really know. They're playing with it now. I'm going to be honest with you. They know a lot about the usage, but Jonas, they don't know what they're actually playing with and what that thing can do for them from a career standpoint, future financial gains, etc. I wish, I would hope that in the future they can have some afternoon programs where they can be introduced to people like you with the knowledge to show them, guys, I can teach you how to create from this, graphics and designs, etc., how to build houses, buildings, engineering process. And because the kids, they're on top of this, but they just need some early intervention that can really get them locked in and focused so that by the time they get to their high school graduation, they got a real set on what direction they want to go. And technology is a positive way for a lot of them to go because there are a lot of opportunities. Thank you all. And Jonas, glad you could make it. I hope you come back more.
All right. Okay. And that's all part of the STEM program. I know we have a lot of STEM programs in the area. And one of the STEM programs that I'm familiar with is the First Technology. They do they start kids young, and it's a competition. They call them mathletes. So they compete in Lego building. So the younger kids, they do Lego building. Then they start introducing kind of like the mechanical aspects of it and the engineering, the motorized vehicles. And then later on, as they get a little older, they go into more of the robotics in the competitions. And there has to be, I know David Thibodeau is a STEM school. So it has to be, some awareness of, those types of programs where they can compete, but not just having the STEM programs at the schools, but having something for like after school to engage our younger people. And, demographics has a lot to do with it. It has a lot to play, has a lot to do with it as well. So I'm more than sure on the South Side, there are programs that we're talking about.
Oh, you're more than sure?
Yeah, I'm more than sure. But giving it to our kids here on the North Side, giving them some options. Giving them options,
with more access.
With more access. Mm-hmm. That would be that would be ideal. And just, that would all start at home too. Even with the sports, even with athletics, getting them involved in athletics, getting them involved in school, getting them more involved and active in the community. It starts at home. And it's education for, not just the youth, but the parents as well and the grandparents as such. Yes. So just educating everybody about it and not being frightful of technology.
And if you need a building, I'm more than sure we either at Imani Temple number 49, Archbishop John, or at the Harambe Center, the Takuna Malana El Shabazz Harambe Center, they would love to, if we able to like put this from talking into reality, they would love to have a place like that where you would be teaching the basic.
Yeah, and that's where it starts. It's a call to action, not just talking about the program.
A call to action.
It's not just talking about the programs, but actually implementing the programs and, seeing it through. And, if you get one, if you get two of them that are interested in it, that one can go and get you two more. So, it just having somebody that can come in and, say, hey, look, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've learned. And, it's a bright, it's a bright future for everybody.
All right. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. And everything. So, listening audience, you know how to get in touch with Mr. Jonas Richard. You got to try and just see, the opportunity is there. I'm still learning about this doggone computer website type thing and stuff like that. And sometimes it makes you want to smoke, and I don't even smoke. You know, so talking it into existence, Jonas, what it is, how long you down here, when are you moving back, and who hiring you? Because you say you had a family, you got children.
My daughter's, she's older. She's working now.
Oh, okay.
She just turned 30. So
what? Damn, you look like you're just in your 20s.
Take good care of yourself.
Yeah, and that all encompasses on the athletic development side. You know, teaching you nutrition, dietitian. I'm connected with a lot of people that, you know, actually work in those areas, work in those fields. You know, proper eating, proper training. So, and I've had the opportunity to train and run clinics and camps across the world. So in Switzerland, over in for the Swiss USA basketball camp. So I was able to, you know, work that camp and help train, being one of the guys. And then all across the country, I've done a lot of training. And then, you know, a lot of our athletes that we coached and trained in North Carolina, they've gone on to play collegiately, even play in the WNBA. So, you know, we have an extensive experience, and that's what I'm trying to build. That's what I'm trying to, you know, help build. I know I can't do it by myself, but I need the community to help.
Okay, Carly, you have a question or comment with?
Yes. I just want to thanks to the gentleman that's on right now, because it piqued my interest, because I have 3 of my grandsons that's in athletic, and one of them, he fell and broke his wrist the first quarter of a game, and he doesn't drink milk. So I know he says he's on a diet and certain things that he eats. So I was hoping maybe he could come to New Iberia in the future also, and maybe he could give us some heads up as to what they should, as young children, do to build their body up. Thank you so much, and y'all have a blessed day.
Okay, well, Mr. Jonas, that's your expertise.
Yeah, and it's the proper training. It's the proper training, the proper eating. I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist. I've done the strength and conditioning training, and to demystify a lot of